So, tell us how much you hated this week's episode of Mandalorian.
No, I'm here to tell you all about some of the wonderful things that happens in Season 3, Episode 1, or as I'm going to call it moving forward, because the rest of this season did not happen. I really only, honestly... Okay, hello and welcome to the Movie Men Podcast.
The PT.
My name's Brady.
And I'm Carl.
And I've only got one real gripe this week. And I think it's a pretty major gripe. Not so much like on the episode, but like sloppy world building, I think.
Okay.
But other than that, this is a great episode.
Yeah, this one was a lot of fun.
Great episode.
Again, starting to get some kind of payoffs from earlier episodes where we were like, what? Why?
Yeah. I agree.
Anyway, why don't you dive into it? I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on this, having hated on most of this season so far.
Well, I still don't know why Grogu's sitting on everyone's laps all the time in cockpits. That seems dangerous and not okay to me, but it is what it is.
T-shirts.
The new IG-12, not IG-11, but IG-12.
Yep.
Was kind of weird and kind of dumb, but also really funny. And also clearly just a t-shirt sell, but
but again,
but a t-shirt that I want.
Story-wise, we now know one of the reasons he went back for IG.
Yes,
this is kind of that payoff. Okay, let's try and fix IG. We can't fix IG. Okay, we'll
turn him into
find another droid. Okay,
vehicle.
Well, now IG comes back into play, but as a walking tank for Grogu,
as a mech, basically.
It's a mech suit.
And I think it was just so funny. Honestly, the no. Yes. Yes.
He can finally talk.
Yeah, you can only say yes and no, apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was fun. I enjoyed that. What else do I really enjoy? I mean, there's a tension throughout all of this episode because you've had the two clans kind of come together, right?
Yeah.
And
we finally see them kind of unite in this episode.
Yeah. So the tension's there when they first arrive. The tension kind of grows when the Night Owls all take their helmets off. And you're just kind of like, you can't see the expression on the cult guys, but they're you can tell they're not comfortable with it. It's this kind of, and then the armorer kind of breaks it up. Right, yeah. She starts clanging her tools together, and she's like, "Hello and welcome, and
let's have a feast.
We'd like you to set up a camp with us, and we're going to cook you some roast gungan and whatever else." And so that's fun. We got, in my opinion, confirmation of my theory.
Okay, remind the viewers and me of your theory.
When we saw that there was a piece of Beskar armor, or traces of Beskar, at the scene of the crime that broke out Moff Gideon.
Right.
And I said, I think there's a very good chance that they weren't even Mandalorians that broke them out. And you sort of maintained that it probably was, but it was Mandalorians that are working for the Empire, blah, 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 right? Yeah. It seems like no. It seems like that Moff Gideon has equipped a new line of troopers with Beskar armor. And so that's why that's kind of, that's why there would have been Beskar at the scene of the crime.
Yeah.
So he was broken out by non-Mandalorians. So I won that one. Suck it.
Well, I didn't completely poo-poo on that theory. I said that was one of many possible theories.
What do you think about the idea, though, that they're wearing Beskar armor now? I think it's at first I was like, this is really exciting and fascinating. Like, ooh, cool, ooh. But then I was kind of like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Because, well, I was like, the stormtroopers, they seem to keep doing things in Star Wars where they're like, and then at this point in time, way in the past, we created a line of far superior stormtroopers. And I was like, okay, great, sweet. But wait a second, why did you then stop using these superior stormtroopers? Right? Like, we see it.
Money.
You think so? It was just like,
I don't know.
Cheaper
Money,
to have
time, training,
generic
capability.
stormtroopers. But I thought, so at first I thought the Beskar thing was really cool, but then ultimately it kind of felt to me like, and we keep crapping on the MCU, but it kind of felt like the thing that the MCU did, where it was, we reached a point sort of at the beginning of phase 4 of the MCU, where it was like, okay, we've decided that everybody's a super soldier. You're a super soldier, and you're a super soldier, and you can be a super soldier. Here, drink this. Now you're a super soldier. And so then I was just kind of like, okay, now we just have a room full of dudes wearing Beskar. And so everyone's just back on like the level playing ground again.
Right.
And so that was kind of like...
Well, yeah, so my thought on this, and it was kind of confirmed by some breakdown videos I was watching, was in the show's title. The show's title is Spy Multiple. And in at the beginning of this episode, we see our Coruscant Moff Gideon's right-hand lady contacting the Moff and telling her about the Mandalorians and how they foiled some plans he had. Because he had originally, again, another payoff here, he had hired the pirates to attack Navarro and maintain control of Navarro for him. Probably for that cloning facility, or it's probably got some strategic advantage for him. More than likely just that cloning facility, I guess. But she's only one spy. We don't see any other spy that we know of this whole episode. So who's the other spy?
Right.
Right? Somebody else is working for Gideon. Who is it? And
I think it's confession time. I think I need to tell you something about who I'm
working for Gideon,
who I am, and what I've been up to. Yeah,
I knew it all along. Yeah. So, like, there are a few theories rolling around out there, but I think the best one is that it's the armor.
Ooh.
Right. So you're asking the question, where did they get all this Beskar armor? Right? Because up till now they've said like Beskar armor is hard to forge.
Well, no. I'm not asking where they got it from.
Or just
I assume it's just because they've taken over Mandalore, and so
makes it less.
It just makes it less special. But no, that's an interesting theory though. Like because they got their hands on Beskar doesn't mean that they would necessarily know how to work with it.
Yeah. So there are a lot of kind of interconnecting threads to this theory that make it really plausible. Right? Her helmet has horns, similar to the horns worn in the Clone Wars episodes where Darth Maul had Mandalorians following him. They put horns on their helmets, right? So she was formerly potentially a member of Death Watch. Death Watch, she explained how Death Watch devolved into infighting and split off into many different factions, yada yada. So she's a former member of Death Watch. But who else has horns on their helmet in this episode?
Did Gideon have them?
Gideon had horns very similar to hers in this episode.
Oh.
On top of that, and this is a theory I've tossed it around in my mind, but I never gave it a lot of credence, a lot of weight. But another theory that popped up in a video I was watching was that Gideon is actually a Mandalorian. Potentially one of these factions that split off from Death Watch. And somehow he's connected with the Armorer. They were against each other. He somehow swayed her that his way of bringing back the Mandalorian culture is the best way. So maybe some of these stormtroopers, quote unquote, aren't, some of them probably are just kind of normal stormtrooper recruits. But I would, if this theory holds water and is true, it wouldn't be a stretch to say that some of these people, some of these stormtroopers are actually Mandalorians as well, following Moff Gideon. And one of the, like, if you look at Gideon's armor compared to the rest of these stormtroopers, his armor is extremely Mandalorian in design. Right. It's got the diamond heart of armor in the center of the chest that all the other Mandalorians' armor has. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like, that's supposed to be like a very special symbolic feature to Mandalorian armor to say, I am a Mandalorian.
Right.
Right. So there's some really cool theories floating out there right now that like, who's the other spy? You know, it could have been one of those people on that sail skiff, one of the Mandalorians on the sail skiff.
Yeah.
Because they knew exactly where the forge was. Could have been the armor for the reasons I mentioned. Also, she just happened to have left before they were attacked. Mm-hmm. Right? To potentially set up an attack on the fleet. Yeah, all kinds of really cool theories floating out there about who the other spy is and Moff Gideon. Speaking of Moff Gideon, that Shadow Council scene was dope AF, man.
It was pretty cool.
Like, so we get some really cool call forwards, not callbacks, call forwards to the Disney trilogy with what's his name's daddy that he has issues with.
Oh yeah.
We get callbacks to the Thrawn's right hand man in being one of the council members. So some really cool stuff.
Well, so speaking of that council, I think we got our next real confirmation. And I mean, there's been little doubt. You've been, like, I would say almost completely certain. I've left it a little more potentially open for them to be going other routes. But a sort of a working theory has been that so much of this and what the Empire is really focused on right now is the revival of Palpatine. Yeah. And I think hearing that there is something called Project Necromancer is certainly it's certainly one big leap forward towards that being a reality, right? That's
the talk of cloning involved with that, and
the talk of cloning, the talk of the fact that like this council seems threatened by Thrawn's return, right? Like I
don't know, the smartest guy in the room, he could steer them away from trying to resurrect Palpatine.
Yes. And so I don't know. It's all really fascinating, and I don't know where they're going to take all of this and what it's, but I'm also like, with the news that movie's coming, and I don't know, like, I guess it could be years and years and years and years out. Like, I don't know. I don't know if we're getting, like, I know we're getting a season 4 of Mandalorian. And so I guess season 4 of Mandalorian is going to have to be nuts. Yeah. Like, it's just going to have to be, like, they're just going to have to not waste time.
Well, the season finale's got to be nuts.
I hope so.
Like, there's an imminent attack on the Mandalorian fleet. You've got a small group that led by Bo-Katan essentially running for their lives on the surface.
Yeah.
Din Djarin was captured for some reason. Like, why kill Paz Vizsla and capture Din?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, like, what is going to happen next episode?
You're dying here. Let me talk. So, yeah, I hope so. There's still the potential that it's going to, like we talked last week, I think, about like, what if they're just going to do a really unsatisfying, really awful cliffhanger ending? Because we know that in the process of writing season 3, Jon Favreau also figured out the story for season 4 because he wanted to make this season make a lot of sense so that it was all like kind of one big through story. And so hopefully this isn't 2 seasons that are just telling one season worth of story. I hope that's not the case. I don't know. We'll kind of have to wait and see. I do want to. So you were talking about horns. You're talking about horns on helmets.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you brought up horns because my big gripe, the gripe that I think is not necessarily an issue with this episode, it's a world building episode, or it's a world building issue, an issue with world building in general. We see this massive monster at the end. It's sort of the climax of leading into the climax of this episode is this big fight with some big, crazy, scary monster.
Not even fight. It kind of destroys this.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, okay, semantics. But it's like there's a big monster. And so apparently Mandalore is inhabited by big, scary monsters. I don't understand what the big deal is about the mythosaur. Because on paper, it would seem like it's just a really big monster. Right? It's just this big, ancient, scary
It's like
being.
the king daddy of the monsters on Mandalore.
Yeah, but I don't know, we caught a glimpse at it, and it didn't seem like it was really any bigger than this thing. Or really any bigger, like, they talk about the mythosaur like it's this insane force to be reckoned with. That it's so big, and it's so bad, and it's so crazy. And that's why he's like, and he's one of our insignias, and he's all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, but you just dealt with this other big one, and he seems like he's also a big problem and just as big. What about all the jerk, monster, evil, awful things that are lurking at the bottom of the lake in Naboo? Like, it's not like the mythosaur is the only massive monster out there. And so I just don't understand. I don't know. I think showing up on Mandalore and there being this other big monster, like the big threat has been that, like, it's the mythosaur is real. It's still there. You saw it, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know, after they saw this other thing, which is clearly not a mythosaur, when it first started breaking out, I was like, oh, holy shit. It's mythosaur time. And it wasn't mythosaur time. And so then I was just kind of like, you guys are going to be kind of underwhelmed when you see the mythosaur. Like, it's just kind of, I don't know. I don't get what the big deal is.
Sorry, I feel like this is nitpicky, and I want to just kind of clarify. Is your issue with the mythosaur being the symbology of Mandalore?
No, just like the freak out that everybody has about it. That, like,
why it's held in such high regard?
Why it's held in such high regard, why it's seen as it's perceived as such a potential hazard, when it's like, okay, well, I don't know why y'all are freaking out about the mythosaur, because it seems like right under the surface of the planet there are these other big things. Why is that not the perceived threat? Why are we not worried about those? Why have we not heard mention of them until now?
Well, we have heard mention of them because Bo-Katan lays it out for us at the beginning when she's
the beginning of this episode,
asking for recruits.
Yes, but why not until this episode? Why in all of the discussions about the dangers, the hazards of Mandalore, the whatever else, the condition that Mandalore's in, why, and then to what you suggested even further, like why is the mythosaur this thing of legend?
The mythosaur is important, and they've outlined this before too, that it's important because the first Mandalore tamed and rode one.
Yeah. So but why are we scared of them then?
Pardon?
Why are we scared of them then?
Who's scared of them?
It seemed like
I think you're mistaking reverence for fear.
It seemed like okay, but why do we not have reverence for?
Because first off, everybody thinks they're extinct except for Bo-Katan and now the Armorer.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seemed to me like it took away. I think the appearance of the arrival of an interaction with a mythosaur would have been so much more powerful in such a more big feeling moment if the second that we arrived on Mandalore we weren't attacked by something that is potentially even bigger.
I don't know. Godzilla is still the king of monsters, even though Ghidorah is bigger.
Okay, but we're talking about Star Wars.
No, but you're talking about big monsters, and why is this monster the king of so big and scary? Well, Godzilla is big and scary, and the king of monsters because he's the most badass monster there is. Nobody can defeat him. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean he's the biggest monster. Ghidorah is obviously a bigger monster than Godzilla, but he still beat beat him.
Mm-hmm.
So,
we're also thick into the weeds here. In most incarnations of Godzilla, I think you're
reading too much into it, and you're not Mandalore is always. I've never considered Mandalore to be a safe place.
No.
Right? I've always assumed it was dangerous and there are big bad monsters all over the place. So I don't know why you've attributed it to be the place that wasn't.
Don't make this. Don't turn. I'm telling you something I don't like. Don't turn this into a shortcoming of me.
I'm just trying to. I am turning it into a shortcoming because I don't know why. Why your assumption is going in that direction.
Listen, it's not an assumption. It's an
just because they didn't. Just because they didn't write it down and hand it to you on a piece of paper 4 episodes ago, you're not happy?
My opinion, I'll restate it because apparently someone in the back didn't hear it. My opinion is that for me, the imminent arrival of the mythosaur would have been more impactful had we not dealt with another massive monster the second we arrived on Mandalore. That's not my shortcoming. It's not an assumption. It's me saying that if that was the big, it just made it feel for me like the mythosaur isn't hanging as big of a shadow over this operation. That it's not, and maybe I'll be proven wrong when it happens. I don't know. Maybe I'll still feel the same way. Maybe I'll pull a total 180. But for me, when we arrived, and I saw this moment that I thought was a mythosaur moment, because look at it, it's so massive coming up.
I was there with you. I thought it was mythosaur.
I was like, what else could it be? It must be. And then it wasn't, and it was just some other big, massive thing. And then I was like, oh, okay. It was whatever.
Let me kind of try and reframe your mind here on this issue.
I don't know. I just framed it. I don't know why you got to reframe it, but go ahead.
Because I think you're stuck in a little box and you need to open your mind to bigger things.
Why can't my opinion just be my opinion?
Because it's wrong.
Hang on. For the most part, I like the sequel trilogy. Should we reframe your mind?
What if next episode we get there's always a bigger fish moment. Do you know
That will work only. That will work only if it turns out the mythosaur is in fact dimensionally larger, and I'm not convinced entirely yet that it is.
I don't know. It could be.
It
Why
could be.
It be.
I'm not saying it can't. I'm just saying that I'm not convinced that it is.
Even if it's not massively bigger, if it shows up and it completely destroys this other beast, like
Absolutely.
easily rips it apart.
Yeah. If it turns, you know what? If it shows up,
same outcome.
If it shows up and it turns out it's got skin made of Beskar and it's like whatever, then yes, I'm right there with you 100%. All I'm saying is that the fighting of this monster in this episode has made me skeptical that I am going to have the reaction that I think I'm supposed to.
Fight. They didn't fight this thing.
Whatever. The decimation caused by this monster.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's better.
That's there you go. Yeah. What else? What else you want to talk about? What else am I wrong about in this episode?
Everything.
Probably.
Oh, what else really cool happened? What else did we see? Oh man.
I mean, so they arrive. So, like, a moment that I thought was really cool was the discovery that the Empire is set up on and hiding out on Mandalore.
Yeah.
And I wondered how much of. I immediately wondered how long have they been there?
Yeah.
And how much of the galaxy's, because it turns out like a big plot point in this season has been that Mandalore is not in the treacherous state that that everybody believes it to be in. It's not toxic and uninhabitable and a total mess. And so then I started wondering how much of that is propaganda that has been put out there by the Empire to keep people away.
Yeah.
To maintain control over Mandalore.
Well, by Moff Gideon specifically, right?
Yes.
He's a segment of what remains.
Yes. Like when what is the timeline? Like at what point did they all leave Mandalore?
The Mandalorians?
Yeah.
Probably sometime after the Night of Many Tears, the bombing.
Right. But when was that? Like in the grand scheme, like tell me like before this movie and after that movie.
Oh man. It would definitely be before A New Hope.
Right. Okay.
Right.
But A New Hope was only like at this point, A New Hope was less than 10 years ago.
Yeah. So if we look at the Rebels timeline, Rebels takes place before A New Hope. And Sabine Wren, can't remember if Sabine grew up on Mandalore or not.
I don't know.
But Sabine worked for the Empire. So Sabine worked for the Empire. So at one point she was in a Imperial
So the Purge. Here we go.
Stuff. So I'm thinking like what? There's about 20 years between Episode 3 and A New Hope, Episode 4. So I would say like 5 to 10 years into the Empire's reign.
So Bo-Katan, as spoils of their victory, the Empire gathered Mandalorian Beskar and cast the metal into Imperial ingots. The Purge, because that's what it was, right? The Purge, when all the bombing and whatever happened. The Purge was what forced Mandalorian group known as the Tribe, who had been, blah, blah, blah. Even after... Oh, but it's not telling me when the Purge was. Second Civil War, because the Second Civil War ended in the Purge. Saxon's death, civil war between clans Saxon and Wren, with the former being backed by the Empire. So it looks like this all went down. Imperial rule, because there was, like, the Empire was there causing trouble on Mandalore before, like while the Mandalorians were still there.
Yeah.
And then the Civil War happened. It looks like it happened one BBY. It happens 1 year before A New Hope. Cause of Clans, the former being backed by one BBY, Gar Saxon had been succeeded by his brother, Tibber Saxon, as governor, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So it's only, which is very interesting then, because it's only been like 10 or so years that they've been off Mandalore.
1 year before? That can't be right.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Night of Many Tears was 1 year before. Then that makes Rebels timeline only 1 year long.
Maybe.
No.
Why?
That doesn't.
Night of a Thousand Tears. Night of a Thousand Tears. Darksaber, Catan. All of these things. The prelude, the night was. No, not behind the scenes. Someone say a Star Wars eskier here. Come on, please. Hello. Okay. The aftermath, the night, the prelude. In 2 BBY, Clan Ren joined forces with the Mandalorian resistance led by Bo-Katan Kryze. Together, the combined forces attacked and killed Tibber Saxon. After Saxon's fall, Kryze was gifted the Darksaber by Sabine and went on to unite multiple Mandalorian clans under her against the Empire. Although she claimed rulership, claimed rulership Mandalore with the Darksaber, she had not won it in combat, and so followers of the ancient Way of the Mandalore, known as the Children of the Watch, believed that it was blah blah blah. With Kryze and her followers rebelling against the Empire, the later faction launched a counterattack, resulting in the Great Purge of Mandalore. During a night of siege, gunships equipped with... Yeah, so it happened sometime after. Like, Bo-Katan gets the Darksaber in 2 BBY. And so sometime after that, so very possibly 1 BBY.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because Sabine gets it in like the second or the last season.
Yeah. So it's quite possible that it's been less than 10 years.
Because that would mean Rebels can start five or so years prior to A New Hope.
Yeah. So it's quite possible that they've only been off, like at this point in the Mandalorian show, it's quite possible that the Night of a Thousand Tears was like less than 10 years ago. Yeah. And so that's, yeah. So they haven't been gone long, at which point that's not, like, the shorter that time period is, the more credit, I think, the idea that the Empire has been perpetrating this notion is viable. Right? Because if it's like, oh, well, it was like for 30 years, like they wouldn't have been able to keep people off for 30 years. No, but like 8 years? Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think it leads more kind of weight to the theory that Moff Gideon is a Mandalorian and that some of those stormtroopers are Mandalorians too.
Yes.
Because of in Rebels, us seeing that there are Mandalorians working for the Empire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. On top of that, all the knowledge that he has about the Darksaber, Mandalorian culture, and all that stuff as an Imperial, why would he care?
Right. Yeah.
Right?
No,
but he
absolutely
knows all this information about Mandalore and Mandalorian culture and things that Mandalorians should know about, but that an Imperial would not give two craps about unless you're oh shoot, his name has escaped me. Blueface. Help.
Thrawn.
Thrawn, yeah, unless you're Thrawn.
So Mandalorian season 3 takes place in 11 ABY, so it's been 12 years. It's been 12 years since the Night of a Thousand Tears.
Cool.
So yeah, very, very, very possible.
Yeah, that. Oh man, It's funny. I thought it was a little odd watching this fight happen, the final fight, because they kind of get the upper hand in the forge, and then they start chasing them through cave tunnels, and then the cave tunnels start to look like Imperial hallways, and I noticed it,
and then they were
I don't know if you noticed it. I noticed it like right away.
Yeah.
But are these Mandalorians? They're like so bloodthirsty they don't notice the change in terrain. That doesn't.
Yeah, suddenly they have to get into the room with the TIE fighters before they're like, "What is this place?" And it's
wait
like,
a minute, we're in an Imperial base.
Yeah, I was like, okay, hang on a second. Yeah, so
you've
that
been
happens.
Fighting through an Imperial base for like 4 minutes, and you just noticed now.
So here, I've got the official list. You ready for this?
This is timeline list?
The official Star Wars timeline.
Ooh.
So Phantom of the Menace, or the Phantom Menace, Phantom
we don't
of
need
the
to start
Menace.
that far. Start at Revenge of the Sith.
Okay, well, no, I'll start with Clone Wars.
Okay.
Clone Wars is 22 BBY to 19 BBY, so it takes place over 3 years.
Okay.
Revenge of the Sith is 19 BBY. Bad Batch is 19 BBY.
Right.
Solo is 13 BBY to 10 BBY.
Okay.
Obi-Wan Kenobi is 10 BBY. No, that's not right.
You said...
Oh, yeah, no, it would be. Yeah. So the year that the movie Solo is ending...
It's a countdown to BBY. You're counting down to BBY. The smaller the number, the closer you are to the Battle of Yavin.
Yes. Yeah. So 10 BBY is Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is interesting because that means it happens the same year that the majority of the Solo movie happens. Andor is 5 years later in 5 BBY. Rebels is 5 BBY to 1 BBY. So it takes place over the course of 4 years. Rogue One is 0 BBY, obviously. New Hope is 0 BBY. 3 years later, it's Empire Strikes Back with 3 ABY. Return of the Jedi is 4 ABY. And then Mandalorian Season 1 is 8 BBY, or ABY. So it's 4 years after Return of the Jedi.
Right.
Mandalorian Season 2 is 10 ABY. So it's 2 years after the first season.
Which,
for whatever reason,
I don't know if you've seen some of the interviews with Jon Favreau, but I don't think even he has locked down how long that's been.
No,
he's said 1 year, he said 2 years.
These are like best guesses, I think.
Yeah.
Book of Boba Fett is 1 year later in 11 ABY, which is the same year that this is happening. So this season is sort of happens in the same year as Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, okay.
Which kind of makes sense. And then Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker are all between 34 ABY and 35 ABY. So there's still, like, really, what I think is fascinating me in some of this new stuff that we've got coming out from Star Wars, the fact that we're going to get this Ahsoka show, we're going to get this Mandalorian movie, we're going to get, blah, 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 is... Right now, there is a 22-year gap between where we are and the next thing that happens in Star Wars, which is The Force Awakens. That's the biggest chunk of time that we have where we really don't know very much. Right? Like the forming of the First Order and what we're doing in Mandalorian right now, which I think is relevant because I think we may get this in the next or like the seeds of this in the next season and maybe in that Mandalorian movie, is how does this underground version of the Empire, this in hiding version of the Empire that is trying to resurrect Palpatine.
Yeah. And even this isn't getting into a lot of it.
No. So how do we go from where we are to the forming of a quote unquote fake empire, like the rebrand of the empire, which a lot of people, like, it's not until the Rise of Skywalker that we actually even realize. It was like, oh, it's the First Order, and it's kind of built out of the ashes of the Empire, and it's kind of no. It was always the Empire. It was the Empire from the get. It was the resurgence of the Empire because Palpatine was the one behind it. And so the First Order was really probably just a name given to try to, let's rebrand. Like, the old brand's not real great anymore.
Yeah. So, like, I think I've mentioned this before, one of the things that we haven't gotten really into in the live action, they may have touched on it very briefly, but not enough for anyone to really understand, I don't think, is that the Empire is still alive and well, right? Like, during the Mandalorian. It's just not
no one's listening.
Well, they're periphery planets that were under Empire control, that once the Empire fell, they were allowed to maintain their imperial control, but they had to disarm.
Yeah.
So they're imperial by all rights. It's kind of like what we've seen with the episode with Jack Black, right? Imperial. It's not really an imperial planet. They probably could have played it a lot better if they had done it. If they had played it as an actual imperial planet, it probably would have made more sense and been better too. But yeah, they were an imperial planet, had to disarm and kind of fend for themselves that way, and they didn't have a vote in the Senate, the new Senate.
Mm-hmm.
So there are lots of pro-imperial planets still in the galaxy during this time frame. They're just they don't have any teeth, so to speak, with the exception of this Shadow Council and these warlords.
Yeah,
who would use these planets as safe havens potentially.
Yeah, but, so a great sort of real life comparison to this is, because I think as a kid, when you're young and you're watching Return of the Jedi, your mentality is sort of that, like, okay, once the Emperor was dead, that was it.
Yeah, everybody's good now.
Everyone was happy. The Empire's gone. Blah blah blah, which clearly was not the case, and it makes sense because this is kind of like a here you go. And this is some people will look at this and go, that's sort of an extreme comparison. No, not really, because this is essentially what the Empire is based off of. There's so many parallels. Hitler dies May 7th, 1945. The Nazi Party is dissolved on October 10th, 1945. Months later. The war didn't even end for another week after Hitler died.
Well, on top of that, and you're right, this is a direct correlation. This is purposeful, right?
Especially the First Order. That thing with Admiral whatever his face is, and there's red banners hanging when they're on the Starkiller planet. And there's the way they rearmed in secret and stuff. Yeah, yeah. It's all kind of taken from real life, because when in World War I, Germany, they didn't know, even though they may have had to secede a lot of ground that they had taken to just back to their Germany original country. They're still their own country, but they had to disarm. Kind of the same mentality in Star Wars. Star Wars has taken that mentality. These planets get to stay imperial; they just have to disarm. We're taking their toys away.
Like you said, even though they're disarmed, the Empire has found a way to rearm itself. The same way Hitler was able to rearm Germany without breaking rules. Through secrecy and kind of sneaky ways. The Empire is doing the same thing now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's crazy. We have a major death in this episode that I feel like we have to talk about.
Paz Vizsla's death?
Paz Vizsla.
Yeah, goes out swinging.
Yeah. It was a good death. It was a heroic death.
It was a Mandalorian death.
And I think this show has been weak in terms of giving us moments like that. Right, the last real one I can think of is IG-11's initial demise.
Yeah, it's so important for movies and shows to do this, right? Because it adds weight. It adds, it grounds it.
It confirms that there are stakes here.
Exactly. Yeah, big stakes. People are going to die.
Yeah.
People did die. Okay, crap's really hitting the fan.
So I was sad to see him go, but I think if you were going to kill someone off, this was a meaningful death.
Yeah, and it was a good choice too, because he's a likable character.
Yep.
Especially the way he kind of rallied the Mandalorians and has been kind of pseudo leading them because of his presence and his name.
Yep.
Yeah, it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of showing the Praetorian Guard. I was having them show up and Moff Gideon requesting their presence. It was kind of an interesting nod to and tie in to the sequel trilogy.
Yep. Yeah.
Kind of. I'll say this too. That the Praetorian Guard fight in the sequel trilogy, I don't think it's as good as everyone gives it credit for. I don't think it's as well choreographed as most people think. But this scene makes those Praetorian Guards seem badass.
Oh yeah,
where the throne room fight in the sequel trilogy makes them seem like a bunch of idiots.
Yeah. I mean, I won't go that far, but this is better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so, is there anything else we really should touch on?
I don't know. Are we missing anything?
Probably. I mean, there's, share a meal together. They arrive. We didn't really talk about the fight that breaks out. Is that should we talk about that?
What fight? Which one?
Between the clans. Right? The one that was, they were gonna clash horns eventually.
Oh yeah, when they're playing the chess between Paz Vizsla and Night Owl fella.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah. And that Grogu split them up.
Yes. Using that suit. Using IG-11 or 12.
Hitting no. Hitting that button. Just mashing that no button.
So good. It's so funny.
Yeah.
All right. Well, sir, was this episode a win or a fail for you?
Oh, this is a huge win. This is such a great episode. So much good stuff. So much good stuff. I don't think there was anything in this episode I didn't like. It was all good.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. How much did you hate it?
This episode is a win, although it's a win that just kind of cements what a fail this season has been. Like, I don't know. It sucks that this is after this. We've only got one episode to go.
Yeah,
and it kind of feels like we only just got our footing.
Yeah.
Like something about that is not
it really
right.
Yeah. More and more it really does feel like they were trying to tell two different shows stories in this one show.
Yeah.
This one season.
Which is stupid.
The Rangers of the Republic storyline.
Yeah. So I don't know. This was a total win. And I hope that next week's episode brings it.
Oh, it's gotta.
It better.
Yeah. I wonder if you think they'll kill Din off?
No.
Why not?
No, because then what's the Mandalorian season 3? Or 4?
It's about Bo-Katan.
No, I don't know. I think they would lose all... no. I don't think you can. I don't think you can, because there's too much of the dynamic of this show, which is something that they've lost, and I think they need to get their shit back together and realize that this is what made everyone care about your show, is the dynamic between Din and Grogu. Right? Grogu loses so much cuteness if Din's not there for Grogu to play off of.
I would agree with you that that's why the first season worked so well.
And the second.
I would disagree with that's where the seasons need to go, moving beyond season 1.
Yeah, I don't know. It just, like, what's funny about Grogu eating the frog's eggs is not Grogu eating the frog's eggs. It's Din trying to, it's that struggle between the two of them. It's no, stop it. Don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that definitely is what makes season 1 special.
And 2.
And 2. Yeah. But you can't, I don't think you can keep beating that horse and have it keep paying off. And also, there's a bigger story to be told that Mando that Din Djarin is a part of, and that's the story of the Mandalorians, the story that they are trying to tell.
Yeah,
and
but
I think
the show's
personally, I think that's a far more interesting story.
Yeah, but the show's not called Mandalorians. It's not called Mandalore. It's called The Mandalorian. It is his show.
Yeah, and he's part of the Mandalorian culture.
Sure, but the show is still about him.
Yeah, right, and he's still in it.
Yeah, so yes, which is why I'm saying you don't kill him off next week.
Oh,
because then season 4.
No, I don't think they'll kill him off either.
No,
I'm just I'm confused as to why Moff Gideon has him. Like, what reason does he have for saving him and not Paz Vizsla?
Well, because he was the key to the cloning, right? That was that's the reason they were after him in the first place.
Oh, you think he'll use him as leverage for Grogu?
Possibly.
Nah, they won't do that because Grogu's can't even talk. He can't even. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
It's possible. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Well, that's our episode. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you check out our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all listed below. Patreon for as little as $1 a month, you can support the show and get some sick kickbacks. Those are treats, bonuses, little tidbits of fun things for you and you alone. Well, you and all the other Patreon supporters. And check out our merch page. Summer's coming. You got to get some new T-shirts. Otherwise, you just look stupid if you're wearing all of last year's T-shirts. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'm very pleased to say, after having watched this episode, that this is the way.
But there's always a bigger fish or a mythosaur.
What? No. Stop.